Today's story will shake you to your core. She's the queen of Korean drama, the face of strength, elegance, and resilience. But what if we told you that even Ha Ji-won was silently abandoned, without warning, without explanation, right in the middle of filming? In this video, we dive deep into the heartbreaking moment when Ha Ji-won broke down and revealed a cruel truth the industry tried to bury. What really happened behind the scenes? Who erased her? And why did no one speak up? If you're a fan of Korean entertainment, storytelling, or simply believe in standing up for what's right, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss an update from us. Now, let's uncover the truth they didn't want you to hear. For 2 decades, Ha Ji-won has stood as one of South Korea's most revered actresses, a symbol of strength, elegance, and fierce determination. Millions have watched her transform into empresses, warriors, and broken-hearted lovers on screen, but no one expected the woman known for her indestructible poise to fall apart, live, on air. It began like any other interview. Smiles, polite nods, polished makeup, the kind of glossy, controlled presentation fans have come to expect from the industry's veterans. But halfway through a seemingly harmless question, what was your most challenging role? Something shifted. Her lips quivered, her voice cracked. And then, before anyone could stop it, she said it. I was erased. They removed me like I didn't exist. The studio fell silent. The interviewer froze. And Ha Ji-won, the woman who once stood tall in sandstorms and sword fights, began to cry. I didn't know if I should say this, but it's been eating me alive. What followed was a story no one was prepared to hear. A confession so raw, so human, that even the most hardened fans sat glued to their screens, hearts aching. 3 years ago, on the set of a high-profile historical drama, something unexplainable happened. The production had been heavily promoted, the budget enormous, the cast star-studding. Ha Ji-won, a household name, had been cast in a leading role. Everything seemed to be going well, until it wasn't. She explained, first it was small things, a delay in the script, a scene canceled without warning. Then one day, I showed up and my name wasn't on the call sheet. She laughed bitterly, not from humor, but disbelief. I thought it was a mistake. I even asked the assistant director, and he looked at me like I was in the way. She stayed anyway, hoping things would resolve. But as the days went on, it became clearer. The staff avoided her. Co-stars stopped speaking to her. No one told her what was happening. Her lines were reassigned. Her trailer remained locked. She sat alone for hours, forgotten. She said, I found out I was replaced through an Instagram post. I saw the new actress wearing my costume, acting in my scene, and no one told me. Not a single call, not even a text. What could possibly justify such treatment? The internet quickly buzzed with speculation. Was it ageism? Was she too expensive? Had someone with influence demanded a different face? The actress didn't name names. She didn't point fingers. Instead, she looked into the camera and said, I just want people to know this happens. Not only to me. Her words struck a nerve. Social media lit up like wildfire. Fans, actors, directors, and even journalists came forward to share stories of similar silent exits, moments where stars were dismissed, discarded, or demoted without a whisper. But none hit quite as hard as hers, because it was Ha Ji-won, the same woman who jumped from helicopters, who learned martial arts for roles, who never said no to a challenge. The betrayal didn't just end on set. After being replaced, she was left adrift. Projects were pulled, sponsorships vanished, rumors spread, and worst of all, she began to doubt herself. She said, I stopped reading scripts. I couldn't bear the thought of acting. I didn't trust anyone. I couldn't even trust my own reflection. Depression crept in slowly like fog. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. She withdrew from events, refused interviews. Friends called, but she didn't answer. She thought maybe it was time to quit. Maybe I wasn't needed anymore. But then something changed. One day, scrolling through fan letters in the middle of the night, she found a handwritten message scanned and posted online by a teenage girl from Jeju Island. The letter read, "Ani, I wanted to end everything, but I saw your eyes in Empress Key and found a reason to fight again." That sentence cracked something open inside her. She cried for hours, and then, for the first time in nearly a year, she turned her phone back on. She began to write again, not scripts, but letters to herself. Affirmations, journal entries, silent screams turned into poetry. She sought therapy, meditated, reconnected with old friends. Slowly, her light returned, not because someone offered her a role, but because she realized her voice didn't need a camera to matter. She admitted, "I was so afraid of being forgotten, but now I realized the only person I forgot was me." Her return to public life was subtle, but powerful. A quiet appearance at an art exhibition, a candid photo with no makeup, no filters, a short video, just her voice reading poetry. And then came the interview. This interview, the one that would break her and remake her in front of an entire nation. Since the broadcast, the entertainment industry has been shaken, not by scandal, but by silence breaking. No names were named, no accusations thrown, and yet the message rang louder than any tabloid headline. This could happen to anyone. Within hours of Ha Ji-won's tearful confession, a ripple effect surged across the digital landscape. A-list stars, mid-tier actors, and even rookie trainees began liking, sharing, and quietly reposting the video. No captions, just her face, her truth, her voice. It was as if suddenly they all found the courage they didn't know they had. One anonymous actor, known only as S, posted to a private fan forum, "I was replaced once because a sponsor changed. I wasn't told. I showed up to set and the staff acted like I was crazy for being there. I went home and never spoke of it again. Until now." Another post surfaced from a veteran makeup artist who had worked with Ha Ji-won in the past. She was always the last one to complain, even when treated unfairly. She'd smile and bow even when she was bleeding inside. What happened to her happens more often than the public knows. And then came the apology, not from a company, but from a co-star, one who had remained silent back then. He didn't use her name, but everyone knew who he meant. "There was a moment I should have said something. I saw what was happening and I said nothing. That silence is my shame. I'm sorry." No cameras, no grand gestures, just one man quietly admitting complicity. That's the power of truth. It doesn't need to scream. Meanwhile, Ha Ji-won has remained calm. No lawsuits, no exclusive exposés. She's not chasing justice in courtrooms or clout and headlines. Instead, she's letting the truth do the talking. And she's working. Quietly. Brilliantly. On something big. Rumors have begun to swirl of a new project, an independent short film written, produced, and directed by Ha Ji-won herself. Insiders say it's not just a film, it's a statement, a metaphor, a fire wrapped in silence. The working title? Scene 404, a haunting reference to being erased from a production as if she never existed. Sources close to the production say she's casting real actors who have been quietly blacklisted or overlooked. No agencies, no auditions, just honesty. One of the stylists leaked a detail. Every role in this film represents someone who was pushed out. There's no villain. The villain is silence. The idea is bold, dangerous even. In an industry that thrives on loyalty to power, this is not just a comeback, it's a rebellion in disguise. But Hajiwon isn't playing the rebel with a sword. She's wielding something sharper: a pen, a camera, and a story no one can ignore. Brands that once kept their distance are now scrambling to associate with her name again, but she's being selective. Very,